Hello everyone, Devabrata once again, and today I'm planning to take a class on table valued function. So what is table value? We have already explored a few functions earlier in earlier classes. So table value function is a function which returns more than one value. So whatever functions we have explored till now, if you have closely look into that, or if you try to concentrate on that, then you can find we all every time we returned one value only. It might be we are providing the price, it is returning the grade of the ticket. It might be something else, we are providing some year, it is returning yes or no. If it is leap year, then yes. If it is no, then no. If it is not leap year, then no. It might be anything. So at the end, we always return one value. But suppose if you need to return multiple values, it might be two values, it might be three values, or even it might be like three values for two records. So it might look like a table. So basically you are trying to return something in a tabular form. So in those cases, table valued function is needed. So now, what is table valued function? Obviously, I'm going to explain all those things. But before coming into that topic, so today we are going to learn 7 different topics. But before that, those topics are really easier one. I will show you. I will give all the examples, all the topics I will visit almost with the same exercise. Okay, same question I'll be using for all those topics. So it will be easier one and quicker one. So before going into those topics, I want to mention like what is table valued, what are the different types of table valued function. So we have two different types of table valued function. First one is inline table valued function, and the second one is multi-statement table valued function. So what are those? Let's explore. So as a topic one, I will try to explain what is inline table valued function. So if I take one example, suppose someone is looking for a function which will return customer ID, name, and gender from some particular table. So let me show you the table we have already created in our database. So the name is movie customers. Okay, something I'm doing wrong. Okay, I have to select the BW database from here. Here it is. Now if I run, yeah, so it is looking for customer ID, name, and customer ID, customer name, and gender only. So if I execute, so it is looking for three values for 13 records. So we have 13 records altogether. If we go below, so you can see 13 records. So how to return those values? So here the thing will look like something like this. Create a function. You can name a function like uh, get details, something, and it will be an empty parameter. So I will not write anything as of now. And I have to write something like returns table here. In previous examples, in the normal functions we have created where we used to write returns integer or returns float or returns varchar. We have done many things in our user defined function class. But here today, we are going to write returns table. So here, after that, you can write as and just write return. So return this statement. Okay, you do not need to define any variable because we are not going to return any one value. We generally define a variable in case of user defined function because we return one value using that variable. But here we are not returning only one value. That's why taking a variable will not fulfill our requirement. So directly I will return a SQL select statement. So it will return everything like this. So let me execute this. Obviously, I'm going to explain more. I'm going to give more examples so that it will become easier for you. So now either you can use this query or you can use this function name as well. It will behave like a function. It will behave like a table. So here, if I write select star from, instead of a table, you can mention this function because this function will return a table. So in place of a table, in place of a real table, you can use this function. and this function will behave like a table and being called as a table valued function. You can see this function is behaving like a table, but it is not a table. It is returning a table. That's why. In normal cases, if I show you, if I can remember what are the functions we have already created, if I take a look into the database, so probably leap year we have created. So if I give something like leap year, say, if I use 2020, suppose, if I try to run that, okay, it is dbo.leap year probably. So if I try to run that function, I forgot the name, actual name of that function. Yeah, look, it is returning yes. So here we are using that function as a, not like a table, we are using as a column. We can give something like select DBO. I can write year of show time. I can write something like this. The show time is a column of the movie customer table, and I can use that here. And I can write from movie customer table. So here I am using this function. You can see, so all the years are coming as no. Okay, so if I show you all the columns, so if I show you the show time column, and if I run this query, so it will be used like a column, like an extra column. So show time is a column of this movie customer table. So it is 2022. So it is not a leap year. 2022, not a leap year. 2023, not a leap year. 2021, not a leap year. So if everything is coming as no, so it is being used in place of a column. Show time is a column. I am giving a comma. In place of column, I am using this user defined function. But today, I am using that function in place of a table. Here, generally, we write a table name like student table, like movie customer table. But here, instead of table, today we are writing a function. That function is being called as a table valued function because we are using it in place of a table. Previously, we used a function in place of a column. Beside show time column, we are using this function here. So it is being used in place of a column, but here it is being used in place of a table. So that is the difference between user defined function and table valued function. And this approach where we are directly returning the select statement, you can put some where clause as well, you can put anything, but here we are returning a select statement directly. So that is being called as an inline. In one line, I am returning all those values. I'm defining the body of the function. That's why it is being called inline function. I'll be showing you more examples so that you become comfortable with this approach. If I go to the second question, it is asking for create a function which returns customer ID, name and gender for a given year. Okay. So here I can write another functions called get detail for year. Let me copy and paste this. Let me copy and paste this. So get details for year, say. And here I'm going to take 1 year as input. And here I will just write a where clause where year of show time equals to year at the required. That will be coming from outsplit. So year I'm extracting from the show time. If it is equals to the given year by the user, if it is matching, I will show those record. So if I execute, yeah, so get details here is being prepared already. So now I can give one input. How it look like? So if I write select star from get details here, and now if I use 2021 and if I run, it will show a lesser record. So you can see it is showing just 2 records for Anand and Soma. If I use 2022, so it will give few records only 7 records. It is not showing everything. It is just showing the records or the details of the customers who purchased some movie tickets in 2022. If I write 2023, it will give a few records, only 4 records. So that is the way by here in inline table valued parameter, table valued function, we have given one parameter input. All right. So you can take an input as well in inline table valued function. Okay, so just let me show you the difference with the other type of table valued function. So other type is multi-statement table valued function. So what is the difference? Let me use the same query, same requirement, same exercise I'm going to use today. So the topic is very easy actually. We do not need to think anything complicated. That's why in all the examples, I'm going to use the same question. So if I solve the same question again, here, okay, so let me use the get details function once again. So, but this time I'm going to use that with multi-statement table valued function. Let me write get details too. So here, I'm not going to say returns table. Here, I'm going to use a name. Suppose at the rate T or at the rate TB, whatever. I'm giving a name of this table. So this will be a table valued variable. If you forget, you can revise the class like the variable class. So here it is being declared as a table. The variable class link I will give in the detail section of this class. If you want, you can revise. But again, it doesn't require any revise or anything. So I am declaring it as a table. I will not directly return a query. Rather, I will create this table, and in that I will store some details and then I will return. So that is my approach. So this table will contain three values. So the code is complicated. The syntax is complicated. I do not like complicated syntax, but still I can just take a look. So I can rename this as well. So CID I am taking as integer, say. Customer name, suppose CNAME, I can take it as varchar, suppose 100. And gender, I can take, let it be gender itself. So let it be like varchar 1. So I can define three columns of this table, and now I'm going to the body. So in the body, I can write as begin and end, similar structure like an inbuilt function, or like an user defined function, similar structure. In user defined functions as well, we return something, we declare something that I'm promising to return. After that, we used to write begin, and at the end we used to write end. So here as well, I'm doing the same thing, but here I'll be just writing something like this: insert into @tb. I'm trying to insert this value inside this tb variable. You can give some where clause, you can use some complicated query, anything you can, and at the end you can write return. And now if I run this, the same thing, you can do this in two different approaches. So now if I run get details to, the same thing, both the functions will return the same thing. Both the functions will be called in the same way. But you can see they are returning the same thing. Just column name I have changed here. Yeah, if you want, you can change the column name here as well. It is not like you cannot change the column name here, but the approaches are different. Okay, if I alter the function, I can simply write customer ID as CID, customer name as CNAME, and gender is like a gender. That's all. So if I change this one, just try to understand. It is nothing logically, nothing complicated. The same thing. Look, it is returning the same thing. Now you might be thinking like, why two different approaches? That I'm coming later. Why SQL Server invented two different approaches? Because both of them are returning the same thing. But here, just you need to understand the ways are different. In the first approach, okay, let me write it create so that it will be easier to understand. Create function, a function name. Here we are just explaining returns table. I'm not explaining any more thing. We are just saying it will return a table. What it will return, it is a shortcut. We are just doing it like, okay, pass the SQL statement, it will return something. We do not need to take care of that. But in multi-statement table valued function, we are developing that very carefully. We are declaring, we are promising that, okay, we will return a table. The name of the table is TB. It will contain these columns. And after that, we will put those values into that table variable. This is being called as a table variable that we declared earlier. And here at the end, we are returning that thing. Because we have already promised we will return TB. So here you do not need to write @TB. Because we have already promised I will return TB. So you do not need to write it explicitly. So if you write return, that will be enough. So the same thing, obviously people will prefer this approach, obviously, because it is something we can achieve in very easier way. People will not follow or will not like this approach. So this is another approach. So first one is being called as inline table valued function. And this complicated one is being called as a multi-statement. Obviously, we have to write more statements here. So that's why it is being called as a multi-statement. Let me give you another example so that it will become clear for you. So now if I do something like this, the same question I will use today, same question. Create a function which returns customer ID, name, and gender for a given year. So let me, if I copy this one, because I also do not like to write these statements, multi-statement necessarily. But okay, let me write @y. Let it be integer. A year will be given by the user, and that I will use here. Where year of showtime equals to @y. That's all. Again, the same thing. Okay, let me write it like get details year 2. Let me change the name. So again, I'm promising it will return a table. That table will contain 3 columns. I will insert manually, carefully. I am going to insert the data into the table, that temporary table named TB. And I'm selecting the query like this. And at the end, I'm writing return. So here it looks like a proper function, proper user-defined function. I am promising to return something in detail. I am writing begin and end. I am writing return. So it is more like a proper function. And it was something like shortcut. The same thing has been done in a shortcut way. So this first approach is being called as a table valued function. And the next one is being called as a multi-statement table valued function. First one is inline table valued function, and this one is being called multi-statement table valued function. So same thing we can achieve in 2 different ways. Obviously, I know what will be preferred by you. Obviously, it will be the first one, because in the first one, you have to write less amount of statements. Okay, so now if I run both of them, so obviously both of them will return the same thing. Okay, again, if you want, I can change the customer ID name to CID, customer name to CNAME, gender to gender. So it is that we can achieve. We have already checked here. We can achieve. We just need to rename those columns as CID, as CNAME, something like that. So that is not going to be complicated. But here we can see the same solution we can achieve by 2 different ways. Now, obviously, the question is coming into your mind, like, why then we are learning 2 different ways? So what is the advantages? So obviously, we are going to have some advantages in that detailed approach. Detailed approach means this multi-statement table valued function. Why multi-statement table valued function when we have something simpler version available as inline table valued function? Why we are going to use that one, that broad approach? So again, if I take the same example, create a function which returns customer ID, name, and gender for a given year. Let me take the same example today. I will take the same example one again and again and again, so that it will become easier for you without taking some complicated thing, because it is logically not that complicated topic. Yeah, syntax wise, it might look something complicated, but logically it is very easy. So suppose after inserting the value, if you feel like, okay, something needs to be deleted on some complicated logic, or complicated logic means suppose you have to compare it to something, you have to put some where clause, like you want to do something like delete, do something like this. If you want to do something like this, suppose if any name is, if you want to do that, if you want to do something like that, so delete from TB, where CNAME like suppose I percentage. If you feel something like that, okay, so you can use that. If you feel like, okay, if anything is coming, if any roll number is greater than 105, you want to add class 1 with them. Suppose something, I don't know, something weird, if you feel like. So update @tb set CID equals to CID plus 1, where CID greater than 105. Some requirement is there. I'm not saying it is logically very tough. It is very easy. These are very easy things. Probably we have learned all those things in our first few classes. So they're very easy. But my point is, if you want, you can do some modifications like that. But in inline function, it was very straightforward. You cannot do any changes. You cannot delete, you cannot update, you can, whatever you have to do with a select statement. That's all. What you can have in this inline table valued function, you can only have a select statement. The select statement might be complicated. In situation, it might contain a group by query, it might contain a join statement, inner join, left join, anything. But at the end of the day, it has to be a select statement. It has to be only one select statement. If you are understanding it by heart, you can feel it is whatever, how much complicated it has to be a one select statement only. You cannot write two select statement. Okay, yeah, if you can write two select statement, but still you have to put some union or something like that. But at the end of the day, it will be a select statement. You cannot do any modification. You cannot put delete, you cannot put update, you cannot put anything. But here, obviously, you can insert this data into this TB table. You can insert it into TB, whatever you want. After that, if you want, you can delete. If you want, you can update. Whatever modification is needed, you can do. And at the end, what you got as a result, you can return that. So that is the advantage you can get with multi-statement table valued function. If it is a simple one, use inline table valued function. If it is a complicated one, use multi-statement table valued function. So now if I execute this one and let me run, so you can see some changes. Obviously, this Ishan value you are not going to see. 106 will be changed to 107. 150 will be changed to 151. So if I try to run this, so you can see some modifications will be done internally. From the outside, people are not going to understand what happened inside. So from the outside, you can see this data itself. So if you want to do some modifications, you can achieve it by multi-statement table valued function. So if I want to write those differences in a tabular format, like what we used to follow in our school days, so inline table valued function, in short ITBF, and here it is multi-statement table valued function. I'm writing in short because I cannot, I do not like to, I'm following shortcut in simple word. So it is, it contains a select statement only, and it can contain anything. It can contain many lines, simply. Many lines. Okay. So that is the first difference. In second difference, it is simpler. It is the syntax is complicated. Syntax is complicated. Here, you do not need to write no begin end thing, but here, obviously, it starts with begin and end something. It is faster to use. It is not faster compared to ITBF. It is slower, because obviously you have to carefully first define the table, then you have to insert the value, you have to do multiple tasks. So carefully you have to insert that manually. So here it will be slower for that reason. So these are the differences of ITBF and MSTBF. Okay, don't be puzzled with the name. I have written just the shortcut. Okay, so that's the thing. So, and that is the advantage of multi-statement table valued function. But yeah, if it is simple, always go for inline table valued function. And the rest of the topics I'm going to discuss with inline table valued function, because the we do not have any hard or any critical logic to discuss here in this class. So now the people who have carefully completed the SQL Server classes till now, if you are following my classes by heart, I have prepared all those classes for that reason only. If you are following by heart, if you really want to learn SQL Server by heart, it is not like some topic. Okay, if you understand that, you might be thinking why we have why not we why SQL Server Microsoft people has invented this inline table valued function when view is already there. I don't know how many of you are thinking like this, but still, if you can imagine, we have something similar as a view. Let me show you. If I use the same requirement once again, I'm using the same question again and again and again today. So create a function which returns customer ID, name and gender. If I use that, cannot we achieve the same thing using a view? Let me show you. So just think over these topics. So I can create a view. People just take it, people just learn table valued function and go away. They do not think over these questions like why not a view? We can use a view. Let me create a view called v. What can I give a name? What was the name I have given for here? Okay, get details something. Okay, so if I write v get details, v for just understanding, we are creating it as a view. As what I have used, customer ID, customer name, those things. Okay, not this one. Okay, I have used couple of the here. I can use the same query. Let me copy and paste. Let me copy and simply paste. So yeah, that's all. If I execute, it will create a view. So now, if you check, if I write, okay, let me write both of them together. So if I write select star from first one, if I write the function get details, and next one, if I write v get details. So first one is view, and first one is table valued function, and second one is a view. So now tell me, both are giving the same thing. Okay, something it is wrong. Parameter supplied for object variable, which is not a function. What I'm doing wrong? Just give me a minute to check. Okay, create view, we get details. Have I created that already? Okay, let me create that once again. Okay. What is the problem? Okay, I don't know what is the problem. If I run this, parameter supplied for we get details, which is not as. Am I doing something wrong? Probably. Okay. Let me change this thing. I forgot that the syntax of view probably. Is it with begin and end? No. So I have written it correctly. What I'm doing wrong? Okay, let me go to the Object Explorer, database, BW, and views. So it is we get details. Where it is there? Where it is? We get details. Yep. So I'm sorry, my bad. Why I'm giving this bracket? My bad. Okay. Anyway, I got it. So yeah. So here you can see we are getting the same thing. So why they invented this thing? Why they invented the table valued function? We have similar thing called a view. Same thing is giving. But you have to understand the reason. If I go to the second problem, create a function which returns customer ID, name and gender for a given year. A view cannot do that. You cannot create a view with some parameter. You cannot provide some parameter like @y integer. You cannot do that. In the view, you cannot create any parameter. So, but here If you want, you can use it with a parameter like 2021. You can do that. You can see the data of 2021, or you can see the data for 2022. So that is the advantage of table valued function over view. In view, you cannot you cannot put any input from the user side. It will be fixed. So that's the thing we have to achieve here. That is the advantage of table valued function over view. So that's why I have created this small topic. Why, when there is a view, there is an object called view in database, why they invented inline table valued function? The reason is for that dynamic approach, for that flexibility that we can get using inline table valued function, or we can get it by table valued function. You do not need to write inline. We can get this advantage using a multi-statement table valued function as well. So that's the thing. So now, if I go to topic 5, now people who are more intelligent, obviously I cannot imagine all those things in my college days. I was really scared. I cannot compare it procedure and inline table valued function. It was impossible at that time. I couldn't know all those things even. So you are not probably, you do not trust me, but I know. But that was a fact at that time. But still, more intelligent people might think like, okay, we can achieve this by using procedure. Really? Let me try to create the same thing using a procedure that will return customer ID, name, and gender. Let me take a look if we can do that or not. So if I create a procedure like create procedure, suppose I can write some P I'm giving to just understand, okay, it is a procedure, and I'm writing get details as, and now let me copy that query, the same query. So if I copy this query and if I create this procedure, okay, again, I'm giving the brackets. This is a side effect of doing function for several days. I'm keep adding those brackets, and that's why I faced some error last time. But now, if I create the procedure and if I run exec p get details, we have done already the class of procedure. So now, if I run this, it will give the same result. Yup, correct. It is giving the same result like this one. Select star from get details. If I show you, yeah, it is giving the same thing. It is giving the same thing. So we can achieve this using the function, using the procedure as well. So why they invented the table valued function? That is a question. Okay. Let me try the next one. Can we give a input here? Can we give a parameter here like a year? Let me try to take a look. Let me try to create the same. So if I try to create another procedure like get details to, and here I can give something like at the rate y integer, say, and let me try to create this procedure. Okay, here I can write where year of show time equals to at the rate y. We have already learned the topic. Okay, we are just discussing how it is different from view, how it is different from procedure, what is the real need of creating this kind of thing. So now if I run get details 2 for the year of 2021, and here I'm doing 2021 as well. Let me run both of them and let try to check what is happening here. Okay. Okay, so let me run this first. Yeah. And here, let me run this next. Both are giving the same thing. Okay, sorry. Okay, this get details 2. Sorry. So if I run this, you can see what I'm doing wrong again. Get details. Okay, it was the name was year, I guess. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. So if I run this function, table valued function, it is returning Anand and Soma's record. We can achieve the same thing by procedure itself. Last time we couldn't achieve this using view because view doesn't take any parameter input. But here procedure is fulfilling that part. The procedure is able to take some parameter input. Let me test more. If I give 2022, is it giving the same thing? Okay, it is returning 7 records. Let me try to take a look. If I also try to create this, yeah, 7 records. So procedure is doing the same thing what we are achieving from the table valued function. So why, if we have procedure, then why SQL Server invented table valued function? What is the reason? Because over procedure, we have an advantage here. If you want, you can you can use it as a table, and even you can use a table valued function in some join statement with some other parts as well. Like I'm doing one thing, you can check. I can join it with some other table. So let it be like G. I can join it with some other table like I forgot the tables we have created earlier. Okay, let it be like student hobby H. I can write it like on G dot CID equals to age dot roll. So you can join it with any table. So we have created one table. I don't know if there is any common thing or not. Okay, we do not have any common part here, but you can see we can at least join. We do not have any common part. That's why it is not giving any result. But yeah, if you want, if you want, you can join this. You can use a group by with this table valued function. I can write something select star from get details. Suppose, let me take a look. What is the data? Okay, so I can do something called group by of something, group by of CID and CID, comma, count star, how many records are there. Anything you can do. Those queries are not meaningful, but I'm trying to show you can do it if you want. So 103 customer ID purchase 2 ticket. 106 customer ID purchase 2 ticket. Is it correct? Let me take a look. Let me take a look if it is correct or not. Select star from the original table. If I check, is it really 103 and 106 customer purchased 2 ticket? 103 is Ishan. And yes, Ishan has purchased 2 ticket. 106 Nisha. Nisha has purchased 2 ticket for Black Adam and for Pathan. So something like that. But you cannot explode your data like this way using your procedure approach. Procedure can only perform this much. You cannot use it as a table. But here we are using this table valued function in group by clause, in join clause, in many parts we are using that. We do not have any data, that is different issue. But we can use this in like a table. So this is, if now you can understand, it is more flexible than a procedure. It is more flexible than a view. So that's why Microsoft people created this table valued function. And that is the advantage over procedure. Yeah, but no one will going to ask this kind of question in interview round, or no one will focus into that much of details. But it is good to know if you are learning it by heart. I'm not following any academic syllabus. I'm not following anything. If you are here to learn SQL Server by your heart, because it is means many topics are there in SQL Server. It is like a vast ocean. So obviously we have to know, because if you are learning everything one after another, it is a high chances is like you will be over flooded, you will be overburdened. You might be thinking why we are why we are learning all those things. Obviously, each topic has some own reason. So the reason of being invention of inline table valued function, or better to say table valued function, is to get the flexibility over view and procedure. And that is the flexibility we are getting. That is the advantage we are getting over procedure. So procedure and table valued function are capable enough to fetch the details in this manner. But if you want to explore more, then table valued function can do this kind of things like group by, like inner join, but you cannot use a procedure for this kind of activities. And that is the advantage of table valued function. So, okay. So if I go to the topic 6, like DML operations on inline table valued function, suppose if anyone wants to insert a record, so how it behaves. So let me go into a different tab. Just let me do some small thing. So if I choose select star from get details. So if I take a look, yeah, this is the one. So if I want to insert something using this function, table valued function, insert into get details, and I can write get details values. I can write something like 999 or 199. Someone's name is probably say Pratima, say, and I want to insert some gender like if I insert, it will insert a value into the real table, underlying table, that is movie customer. If I check, so that means you can insert a value using your table valued function. Obviously, you in table valued function, we have not exposed movie name, movie hall, all those things. So obviously, you cannot insert all those things using this table valued function. But whatever is exposed, like we have only exposed 3 columns, CID, CNAME, gender. So you can insert those values as a new row here. You can see. So that's the thing. It will be good if you know. So now if I use the get details year function, suppose I'm doing thing for 2021. So let me check how many details we have. Only 2 records we have for 2021. So now if I want to insert something using this 2021, suppose 198, say I can write something like Prakhar and suppose male. So now if I execute something and if I check, so you can see it is being inserted because this data is independent. It is not related to 2021 or it is not related to 2022 because show time is null. So it will be also inserted into the database. So that means that proves you can insert any record using table valued function. But now if it comes to deleting a record, how it behaves. So let me show you. So if I try to delete something, suppose first I will try to delete this Pratima's record or Devika's record, suppose, or let me delete Pratima's record, that is 199. So I can write delete from get details, get details only, where CID equals to 199. So if I try to delete, yes, it is showing as deleted. If I check, yes, you can see Pratima's record with 199 has been deleted. We have only 198 now. Now, if I try to delete something with the second function, that is get details years, and what was the name, year or years? Okay, year it is. So if I try to delete, if I give 2021 and if I try to delete 198, Prakhar's record, suppose. If I try to delete that, it is saying invalid column name. Okay, sorry, probably get details years doesn't have that thing. Let me check. Select star from get detail year. So I'm trying to access this function. Okay, it has customer ID. Let me write customer ID. Okay, let me try to delete that. Okay, so it is not deleting that. You can see customer ID 198. So if I check, just we need to check the phenomenon, how it is behaving. It is not deleting that Prakhar record because it doesn't belong to 2021. It doesn't belong to 2021. But if I try to delete Devika's record, suppose 150, let me try to do that. It will not be deleted because Devika belongs to 2023. Let me try to delete. You can see nothing happened. So if I check, you cannot delete Devika's record because it is 2023. But now if I give 2023 and now if I delete that, Devika's record will be deleted. You can see. So that is the phenomenon you have to understand. So that's why I kept this topic 6 like this. So you can see Devika's record is already deleted. Why? Because the simple example is, if you cannot see any value using this function, how can you delete? How can you get the access to delete that? So if I can see something like this for 2023 year, so that means I can delete. I am seeing Ishan, Ruchika, and Nisha's record. So I can delete them only, which belongs to 2023. If something not belongs to 2023, I will not be able to delete that. The 198 records, the customer ID 198, that not belongs to 2023. That's why we couldn't delete Prakhar's record. And Devika's record also was not appearing for 2021. That's why we couldn't delete Devika's record using get details year 2021. So now, if I try to delete, suppose Naman's record, which generally belongs to 2022, 108. So here, Naman's record is not appearing. But here, if I try to delete that 108, obviously it will not be deleted because this 108 record belongs to 2022. So from original table, Naman's record will not be deleted because it belongs to 2022. Now, if I try to delete that using 2022, then it will be deleted. You can see it is deleted. So because Naman's record belongs to 2022, now you cannot see Naman's record anymore. And that is how delete works. In the same way, update also works. You cannot update a record if it doesn't belongs to some particular year. So now if I try to update, suppose, let me check what are the records available for Ruchika and Nisha. Suppose I want to update Ruchika's record. So update something, set. Suppose I want to update Ruchika's name. Suppose customer name equals to, suppose Ruchika's name, I want to put it something like Ruchika, double A, where customer ID equals to 105. I want to update it in this manner, say. So I will be able to do that if you check the original table, because in 2023 Ruchika is there, you can see. But if I take Naman's record, okay, Naman's record we have already deleted. So if I take Anand's record, which belongs to 2022, if I want to update Anand's name, I will not be able to do that. Let me try to update Anand's name. Suppose I want to give double D, where customer ID is 104. Anand doesn't belong to 2023. Anand belongs to year 2022. So you cannot update Anand's record giving 2023 here. So the same thing. If it is accessible, if that record is accessible, then you can update it. If it is not accessible, if you cannot see in the select statement, how can you update that? That means you cannot see those data. So Anand's record cannot be updated using this. It will not show any error even. It will not show any error. You can see it is not showing any error. It is just saying 0 rows affected. So that's the thing happening behind the DML operation. So you have to know that. Okay, again, it is not a important interview topic. You can spend a full day. The class might look for 1 hour, but it involves many details. So just go through that. Just practice it for once. It is not that complex. At least you will feel comfortable with those. So the last topic 7, dependency on a table. So all the functions I have created today, all the functions, if I go to the earlier pages, so all the functions today I have created, underlying, I have used one table. Like movie customer, you can use one table. But it doesn't require always You have to, means it is not like you have to always use a table. It is not like that. You always have to use a table. So means it is not like always you have to use a table. In user defined function, those functions were independent. You can apply it to any table. But today, all the functions we have created, that is not independent. It is dependent on movie customer table. But now if I want to create something that can be applied to anywhere on any table, if I want to do that. So that is something I'm trying to say. Suppose I want to give something which returns more than one value. Like I want to enter a name and that will return first name and last name, two things. So here we are expecting two outputs. That's why we have to go for the table valued approach, because we are expecting two values. So, okay, let me write it in this manner, create. Okay, first let me write the function itself. So select, suppose let me take any name. Let me take any name. What kind of name I can take? Okay, let me declare a name, like declare @name varchar 100. Say, let me set a name, set @n equals to, let me write my name itself, Devabrata Guha. So I want to segregate it into two parts, first name and last name. So how can I do that? First, we know the use of this char index. We have learned that in our string function chapter. I can use this one. So it will tell me, sorry, yeah. So it will tell me the position of the space. So the position of the space in this value is something 10. So space is present in the 10th position. If you calculate, it will be present in the 10th position. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is okay. My charger is problematic. So that's why it's giving some problem. Just give me a minute to fix that. Just give me a minute to fix that. All right. So the position of the space is at 10th position. Space is available at 10th position. So now I have to segregate that on the basis of that position. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use substring, and this is pretty much logical, I will say. It is creating some problem, but I cannot fix that somehow. I don't know. Progress. So what I'm trying to do, substring okay, @n. I want to take from first character to 9th character, not till 10th character. I'm trying to take it till 9th character. So if I do that, it will give me my name, that is Devabrata. Same thing if I want to apply like comma, if I give the same thing, but this time I want to take it from 11th character. The space is found at 10th character. This is 10. So I'm just trying to find +1, that is 11. Means the position of G. G is present at 11th character. I am telling this very quickly, but you can listen this very slowly and you can try to apply step by step. First step, I have applied char index to find the position of space. And now I'm taking from first character to 9th character. I'm doing -1. And then I want to take from 11th character, 10 plus 1, till the end. Till the end, I'm trying to take. So it will give me the next part, that is the surname part. So here, that is the way I'm taking this. So now if I want to create a function for that logic, so I can write create function. Suppose name split something I can write. So it will take varchar input, and as returns, I'm using the simple version. Not as, it is something like return stable. I forgot the syntax. And as I do not need to give this one. I can just write return and this statement. That's all. If I create this, okay, something happening, what I'm doing wrong. Create function failed because a column name is not specified for column 1. Okay, I'm not giving any column name. Okay, I have to give a column name like here as I can write first name, and here I'm writing as last name. So it look like a table. It should look like a table. Otherwise, they are not going to allow you. So I have created that. So it is a table valued function, but for the very first time, it is not dependent on any table. You can apply it anywhere. So if I write select star from, you can apply it anywhere. So let me write my name. Suppose. So it will split this up into 2 parts. You can see. You can apply it to any other parts as well. So I can write any name. I can write suppose Ravindranath Tagore. Ravindranath Tagore, suppose. So it will be able to split them as well, irrespective of number of spaces. Means irrespective of the position of space. It can fetch the position of space and it can split it up. So that is the thing. So that is the first function we have created, table valued function, which is not dependent on any table. So it is independent in nature. Okay. So the next one, mention an inbuilt table valued function. Is there anything that is available from the Microsoft site? Yes, we have a couple of. So if I go to our database, BW, if I go to the programmability, if I go to the function, if I go to the table valued function, okay, table valued function will show the functions we have created. So this is the place where everything will be gathered on. Scalar value function shows all the user defined functions we have created in last class. And if you go to the system function, and there is string function, so this string split is one of the table valued function. If you just hover on the name string split, it will show as well. It will show returns a column of character expression after input character string is splitted by the specified separator. So it is ready-made in nature. You can use it in the same way, right? You can write select star from split, a string split, sorry. Let me write the correct name, string split. So it is something like you can write hi space Devabrata Guha, say. If you can write and if you give a separator like a space, so it will split it up as per the space. So it will split it up into 3 parts in this manner. We have segregated them as per the column. They are segregating it as per row. So 3 parts are coming as a row. Okay. In our case, we segregated them as a column. So Rabindranath Tagore is coming in 2 columns. In one record, 2 columns. But here it is being segregated as different row. 1 column, but 3 rows. First row, second row, and third row. So the approach is different, but that doesn't matter. Both the cases, it is returning a table. And without being dependent on a particular table, it is independent. And that was my last topic to show. Okay, so all these things I have told you, not because of cracking one interview, not because of just completing your syllabus. It is good to know. That's why. If you really want to know the topics, it is the one. And it is not complicated. It is not involving any critical logics. I have just used one critical topic at the last topic, but otherwise it was that simple. You just need to understand the concept. That's all. It is something theoretical, but yeah, if you revise, if you practice all these programs once, it will be good. And we have a nice exercise for that. If you can visit the Facebook group, you will get the exercise as well there. If you face any problem, if you are not clear with any concept, if any of query is giving any error, you can share that in the comment section. Well, probably I or someone else can answer that as well. So it will be good as well to discuss everything there. So yeah, that's all for the day. Just revise all those things. Just try to write all those code by yourself and let me know in case of any trouble. Bye for the day.